Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. This is just a little of an intro to tell you what we have in store for today with Miriam Ismail. And I have to unpack this because this is going to be a really special, very different kind of interview that you all should partake of. Miriam is a professional development and self-improvement coach. Some later degrees or PhDs, master's finance. She's an author, a speaker, a Reiki master. She's into meditation, EFT tapping, and she can tell you about that. A hypnotherapy and self-hypnosis certified practitioner. And for so many of you out there, one of her philosophies is simply one student at a time. And that is so powerful. So that's my little opening segment, and now a little bit more of Calvin's monologue to kind of introduce Miriam Ismail, and I always issue praise statements to the universe. You know how we got connected, and we just discussed before going on air. Miriam's philosophy of teaching, and how people come into her world, and it's part of, well, she came into my world and I discovered her and she discovered me, and now we are here. Chronologically, today is a Friday, July 30th, and I really am thrilled because there's so much to unpack and to understand, and part of what I had said to Miriam before we went on air, as I'm about to introduce her, is the work that you do, and for all of you out there, has never been needed more today than at any other time in our history. It is that critical and that is essential. And the answer why? Well, because just about for everybody on a planet's been locked up in a room in a house for a year, and we just need help getting back to our lives. So that's part of the purpose, to introduce Miriam and the work she's doing. So my monologue, I always call it a Johnny Carson monologue, although this wasn't a humorous monologue, but all the better because Miriam has so much to share with us. So welcome, Miriam, and how about a little bit of a bio, and then we'll kind of jump in to the work you do.
Sounds great.
Good. A little bit of a bio, your background, you know, do you want to share anything with us? Well, yes. I mean, we can talk right now. I think you have one of the most interesting educational backgrounds because it's so, I mean, it's so diverse. Why don't you talk about that?
Yes. First, I want to thank you, Calvin, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be on your show. You're such an inspiring figure, and I'm so happy to be with you, truly. And I love how diversified your channel is, and you address so many interesting topics. So it's truly my pleasure to be here. So what I do, I'm a professional development and self-improvement coach. So my mission is truly to help every person become the best version they can become. And I do that through modalities such as time management, meditation, EFT tapping, Reiki, energy healing, hypnosis, self-hypnosis, naturopathy. So I use all these wonderful modalities to help every person become the best version and reach the maximum potential they have within them. So that's basically my work in a nutshell.
You began your work actually as a computer scientist, correct?
Yes.
You have a bachelor's degree in computer science.
Yes, I'm always fascinated by science. So my whole background is very scientific. My BS is in computer science. My master's and PhD are in finance. And I used to be in the finance corporate world for many years. And kind of gradually I evolved into something else. So what I do now truly resonates with who I am. It resonates with my personality. And I feel it brings me so much joy. So I love teaching. And that's why all these modalities, I teach them. So basically, I don't conduct sessions on clients. I'd rather teach the person to become his own therapist, his own practitioner, you see. So they don't need me. They're just there to learn from me, and I hand them the modality and they take it and they fly away with it. So that's truly what I feel brings me so much joy.
This journey, so you go from, I'm fascinated by this. In my own way, I've made some changes too. So
Yes.
but you know, your journey from computers to finance to corporate,
To something totally spiritual.
yeah. So I mean, how did you kind of arrive?
I
What
don't
the
know.
beginning?
See, yes, it's when you have an open mind and an open heart, your life purpose becomes clear to you. The more you access the infinite resources you have within you. So I've been in all these modalities for many years myself. So through meditation and through all the energy healing I do, you kind of receive downloads. You kind of become clearer on your life mission, truly, and you start shifting. And the more happiness it brings to you, the more you feel you are on the right path. So I feel things always align to happen for a specific reason.
Yeah.
So whenever something goes wrong, I don't believe it's a mistake or I failed or I just feel it's not meant to be because it's not my life path and I should divert and do something else. And when I came upon all these different spiritual and healing modalities, I felt they resonate with me so much that I started digging deeper and deeper into them. And now, many years later, with many students and many workshops, I truly feel this shift in my career or my life path was awesome, really.
I completely, and that's what fascinates me about your journey is because I identify,
Yeah.
because I've gone for so many. I mean, I started
Exactly.
out. By the way, I
Yeah.
started out in science too, as a pharmacist, and
Mm.
I did 6 years of college, a couple of degrees in pure unadulterated science, and you know now. So I completely understand that. So I unpacking some of the things you do. There's so much I don't know. You are a Reiki healer.
Yes.
I don't know a lot about that. Can you share what that is?
Yes. Reiki is a universal energy. It's present in everybody, but we just have to access it. So we have to be tuned to it to be able to address this amazing frequency. And Reiki is a healing modality, but it's much more. When you are in sync and you're exposed to Reiki, every question is answered: why you're here, what's your mission, what's your life purpose. You just feel your life becomes so sacred and connected to the source, and you start feeling how everything happens for a specific reason. So it takes you to a whole dimension of existence. It truly adds so much value to our human experience. So lots of my students come to it as a healing modality because it's very powerful. You can heal yourself, mind, body, and soul. It's an amazing modality, and you see the results right there. And but then what they're pleasantly surprised with is all the conscious awareness and all the cosmic knowledge they gain by just practicing Reiki and making it a part of their life. So I can't say enough about Reiki. It's a profound modality. It adds so much value to our life. And the more you're in it, the more you feel connected, grounded, balanced, at peace, you know? Yes.
Interesting. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I've heard the term before, but I've never, moved, and I never even went to Wikipedia to even. But I'm listening to you, and I'm so curious. So well, I am only because what I've learned about myself, and it must have something to do with Reiki. What I've learned in my own little bit of a spiritual journey is that we are all, and this is my own words, we are all antennas
Yeah.
into the universe. And what I've noticed, and it seems to be related to what you just said, is the more you're aware, and the more you absorb, and the more you are given, if that makes sense.
Mm.
We're antenna, so the more that we can, the more we're given. If we are receptive, we'll be given more. Just
Yes.
two things.
Exactly. You just have to have an open mind and an
Yeah.
open heart and be able to receive. We have a lot of things beyond our intelligence, and you just have to be open to receiving all this downloads, all these visions you see, all these, ideas you get. But it's so true. Reiki, we are born with it, but then you live in the modern world, and where we kind of shifted from all this. So if I ask you something, when you hurt yourself, what is the first thing you do? You touch it, right? You
Yeah.
just touch it. You intuitively touch whatever is hurting, or when your child is hurt, you hug them, you kiss them. So we know, our bodies know that by touch, our hands are amazing healing tools. So we know this, but we kind of drifted away from this wisdom, and this is what Reiki reminds you. So we all have it. It's just a matter of wanting to access this infinite resource within you.
Okay. Question: so you're a Reiki master, correct? Is that what the term is?
Yes.
Is Reiki? Can Reiki be done by Zoom?
Reiki can be done anywhere, because
Okay.
it's all about intention. It can
Okay.
even be done without anything, without Zoom, without physical presence. We call it distance Reiki.
Okay.
So energy is found everywhere, just like air. We cannot see it, but it's everywhere. We can't live without it. So I don't need to be under a specific tree to be able to breathe. I can breathe wherever I am. Same with Reiki. I can receive it. I can send it wherever I am. It's all about the intention.
Okay.
And focusing. We are amazing beings. We have a lot of abilities and capabilities. So it's just focusing and accessing that energy and sending it.
Okay. I think it's one of our problems. We don't use the gifts that we're
Right?
given.
Yeah. We're so busy. We get so buried in our chores and errands, and we drift away.
In part because of this thing.
Yes. True. Enough said.
Enough said. There's nothing to be said.
Yes.
So my next question is, you're an author. Can you talk about some of the things you've written?
Yes. Well, I write a lot of articles and different publications, but I published my book a few years ago. It was about motherhood. So this book, it's called The Diary of a Floridian Mom, and it's truly a diary. It's just a mom's diary.
Oh, cool.
So to me, it was just a souvenir for my kids. I kind of just wanted to highlight the milestones of raising my boys, and that was it. So most of my articles are along the lines of, tips for time management, or for meditation, or for energy healing, kind of healing tips or productivity tips.
You just said a word, and it was on my little list: meditation.
Yes.
Can you talk about the elements of meditation? I mean, we hear about it a lot, but I think so many of us don't really understand what it is. Can you just
Yes.
give a little?
Yes. So meditation is a very, very wide topic. It has been around for thousands of years. So definitely it has a lot of styles, a lot of techniques. You have so much information out there. What I try to teach my students is I filter them. I filter all this information and give them something simple to start and make meditation part of their daily life. So you have types of meditations where you need to totally and completely clear your mind. And this is how some people find it. It's so hard. I can't clear my mind. I can't sit there and do nothing. The types I teach are more like you are thinking, but you have focused thoughts. So I teach them the gratitude meditations where they are thinking of everything in their lives they're grateful for. So the mind is thinking, you have thoughts, and you're breathing calmly and peacefully, but I don't ask them to clear their head. So I found out, especially during the beginning of your meditation journey, when you start this way, it helps you get into meditation more. So I teach about compassion, forgiveness, manifestation, healing, everything. So you are just focusing and directing your thoughts in a specific topic. And that's how we do it, you know?
Mhm.
And of course you have lots, you have mantra meditations, you have breath work meditations, so many. But the style I teach is this one. And I feel it helps them. I don't know, I just feel it has such a positive effect on them because the gratitude meditations are so strong, for instance. Oh my goodness, they are life changers, you know? So they start here and then they would decide what they want to do with their meditation journey. And they dive in all different directions. Yeah.
What you said is to me a wow, because I'm very unsophisticated when it comes to meditation. I do set some time out for myself. I don't do the breathing and I don't do posing, although I actually tried it 6 weeks ago late at night. Uh, um, um, but when I do just take time out from the crazy busy day, and I do focus on and I'm looking at their pictures, the people whose genes I share, who got me here on this earth, and the spirits in my life that have guided me. I am hugely spiritual,
Mm.
to the point where I'm about 2 weeks away from not publishing, but finishing my second novel, and half the title is Journey to Spirit. But Miriam, the focus of most of my meditation is gratitude.
Yes.
To think about what I'm grateful for,
Yes.
and to thank those that in part helped, and from the highest of the high all the way on down, I'm grateful. But when you were saying that, I said, oh wow, because
Mm.
it's real. I mean, that's what I do in my own little way. It's gratitude. So
It's
interesting
very
to hear
powerful.
you.
It's so simple, yet so
Yeah,
powerful. Just being grateful and just
yeah,
practicing the gratitude meditations.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I think the people who hear that, or the forces that hear that, are glad, if I'm making sense now, are kind of glad to hear that you're grateful, because
Yes.
that's part of it's part of the journey.
True.
And I don't know if there's rewards built into that, but being grateful is a wonderful thing. And I'm so glad to hear you say that. So going off topic briefly,
Okay.
ever so briefly, I love to ask this question. That's my favorite question to ask. So here goes. Don't be scared. Um, excluding family or friends, somebody you'd like to spend the day with, um, living or dead. The person could be living or dead, but no family, friends, but anybody in particular or a few people you'd like to spend a day with?
How about Cleopatra?
Great.
I'd love to hear her wisdom.
That's great. That's a great answer. And she, well, she had a thing with a Roman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a great answer.
I would like to know, because back in the day it was such a man's world, and she was an amazing queen. Until now, you know, we still read about her and her stories and her, you know, journey. So it would be kind of fascinating to see, you know.
She was therefore she was way ahead of her time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be interesting.
That's great. Great answer. Okay, back to work.
Yes.
I alluded to this before, and if you could kind of just reinforce it, but the importance today, more than any other time in world history, of taking the techniques, many of which you teach, to become the best version of yourself. And then you said something, and I loved it. I love this. Time flies. Be the best pilot you can be.
Yeah.
So if you want to just talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So I believe the essence of life is time, and how you use time will determine who you are and who you will become, right? We have limited time. It's a very scarce resource. So you want to use it wisely. So to become the best version of yourself, I feel it starts with time. Otherwise, you won't have time to do all the modalities that I teach, right? So we start off with becoming the best time managers we can be. So having a very positive, productive, and wise relationship with time. And hence my signature program, Time Flies, Learn to be the Best Pilot. So I have that for adults, and I have that for your children. I teach your children to be the best pilots as well. So you really need to know how to maximize to your benefit time. And I have techniques and strategies and exercises, and, you know, I train them, I teach them, I share with them what I think my journey taught me as to what tips work, what guidelines work. Yes. So mostly these workshops I feel are so in demand in colleges and universities. That's where I mostly present them, because I feel as students or maybe as faculty members, time management is very important, and I teach it mostly to, you know, the academic world. Yes.
By the way, that time management is everything.
Right.
It's so key. Interesting. So you talk about teaching, teaching in college and your other teachings. Do you have any anecdotal, interesting teaching experiences to share? Anything that jumps out at you?
Nothing. I love that every workshop I present, I feel it resonated with my students. And I feel even if they take just 20% out of it, it would be enough for them to kind of, you know, have a better relationship with time. So nothing jumps at me as to like a specific experience that left any residue in my memory. Just the joy of feeling that these workshops are successful.
Okay. Finally, not finally, and by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this to you beforehand, but you are more than welcome. Would love you to come back.
Oh, thank you.
The channel, you know, I'm kind of a loyal guy, and now that we're friends and you've been here, please do come back. And kind of winding down, you're a world traveler.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've traveled a tremendous amount. You lived in different places. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and some of the places you've been and lived in?
Yes, well, I was born in West Africa, and then I grew up in England, and then I lived in the Middle East for a while, and then I've been here in Florida for 16 years. So the most place I've stayed is Florida. So I think of myself as a Floridian now. But what I like about traveling is I've been exposed to so many different
Yeah,
cultures, backgrounds, languages. You meet different people, different mentalities. And it truly helps me a lot when I deal with my students, no matter what background they're coming from. I know how to work with the personality because every culture, every nationality, every language, you know, it has specific traces in the
right.
personality, and you know, we're all unique individuals. So my travels kind of made me feel we are all united. I feel I would love to say I'm from Earth and not I'm from the States, or I'm from here, or I'm from there, you know. I think of us all as like one united race. I see everybody as like one, we're one species, humans. So I love that. I have no preferences to any like you know, different nationalities or so. I just see everybody as equal, and I treat them according to their personalities. And I love the fact that I understand them, because simply I've been in many different areas, and I have been exposed to a lot of different.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, that's we didn't discuss this in our prior discussions, but you kind of blew me away there when you're talking about the one species. Well,
Yeah,
that's the title. That's the title of this.
exactly.
We, the
Right,
species,
right.
which, by the way, yesterday morning it became officially trademarked.
Nice.
We, the
Congratulations.
species. I just got a notice from the feds that I
Congratulations.
trademarked this, we, the species. But it's something I believed for a long, long, long time. We
Yes,
are just one species,
yes,
and it was the pandemic that kind of slapped me in the face
yeah,
to realize that there isn't a spot on the planet that is immune
true,
to the pandemic.
true.
So we are one
Yes,
species. And the other thing, which I've really plunged into, is environmental concerns.
mm,
And if we, the species, don't fix the planet, which is already tipped to the other side, I don't know if we can ever fix it. We
yeah,
might be able to slow it down, but we are one species.
yeah,
It's just one small little planet. So, and hearing you say that, it kind of made me gratified.
mm,
There's that word, you
mm,
know, it made me gratified uh, uh, in you know, to hear you say that, because I have an enormous respect for you and your journey.
thank you.
And so, Miriam, this has been a great segment and eye-opening for me. And of course, all your information is flashed for folks to see. And I can't thank you enough for your graciousness and your time and your energy and your willingness to share this. So I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Calvin.
All
And
right.
I'd love to come back as long as you promise me you would start to meditate. My intention is to teach you to meditate.
Well, guess what? I am. I'm
Yes.
promising you now. I want to go back. You know, I find a dark place at 2 in the morning,
That's severe.
and it's severe in our visitor bedroom,
Okay.
our extra bedroom there, and I just I get down and I have to go back to that. And you've inspired me.
Yes.
So to be continued. And thank you so much, Miriam.